This is going to be an unboxing video for the Asus Zenbook, the 14-inch model. This is the Amazon box that it came in, pretty minimally packaged in there. Here's a picture of the model that I have in specific. You can see all the specs if you would like to see that information. All right, this is kind of interesting. It looks like the laptop sits at an angle in the box. You can see it sitting at an angle there, I guess to kind of give a more theatrical experience. This is attached to the box, and it looks like this is just a little laptop cover that comes with it. So I might get to that later. I didn't know it came with a cover, so that's kind of a nice surprise. Here is the laptop itself. It seems to have a pretty sturdy construction, pretty lightweight, but still the it's lightweight because of its size, but it's still certainly some weight to it at the same time, if that makes any sense. So there's that. This looks like a Ethernet adapter. That is really nice to see. A USB to Ethernet adapter. A USB-C power charging. I knew about this before I bought it. That is nice that the power brick uses the USB-C interface, kind of like the newer MacBooks. I don't know if you're allowed to use a MacBook charger with this laptop. I assume you can, so that's really nice that they're moving to that. And because this laptop has no headphone jack, you have an adapter. I wasn't a big fan that it didn't have a headphone jack, but I do use wireless headphones anyways. And the fact that it came with an adapter really didn't make it a make or break it situation for me. So there's that. Nothing on this other side. I assume there's nothing under there either. Here's probably a quick start guide, warranty information. Very nice. Nice stuff there. We have the laptop in hand now. All right, has a nice cold touch to it as expected. The outside body is all aluminum. You can see some of those fingerprints on there, but they kind of go away. Hopefully it maintains that, but the fingerprints disappearing might just be a coating that's on there, so hopefully it maintains that. Here we have, this is very nice, can be opened up with one finger seamlessly. All right. So let me get a closer look at what we have here before we turn it on. So it looks like a matte screen, which I was expecting. Of course, it's not going to be quite as vibrant, but it probably will be more color accurate, which is nice, especially for me because I do photo editing and stuff like that. This is just a thing right here. Let me pull this off. I've heard this laptop is supposed to have a nice touchpad, so that is something I'm looking forward to in this model. All right, now that I'm charging this, I'll go ahead and show you guys. Yeah, you could see this light turned on right there, so it is getting power, which is very nice. I actually forgot about the Cortana setup on these new laptops, so that's a little bit annoying, but you can actually hit the microphone iPhone to turn off Cortana. I forgot that. It's a little bit something cheesy about Windows 10. I will say already I'm liking how the trackpad feels. It's not very loud, but it is feel kind of tactile and it feels nice. The keyboard also has kind of a soft touch to it, but it's definitely not a bad one either. Of course, this is not going to be anything crazy. But I think for the price, what you're getting is actually really nice. And this is kind of consistent with the other reviews that I read, that the keyboard does have a nice feel to it, as does the trackpad.
All right, so I just wanted to do a quick follow-up to my initial unboxing and talk about some of my first impressions slash a review of this laptop. I've had it for about 2 weeks now, so I've gotten a good feel for how it operates using it every day. So a lot of the good things is nothing really outstanding. It's just that the laptop has lived up to my expectations. By the way, I'm recording this on the Asus Zenbook 14's webcam just because a lot of people are using their laptops these days for video calls. So I just wanted to give you a good feel for the video quality as well as audio quality, which is obviously nothing outstanding, but it's not terrible either. So yeah, this laptop has mainly lived up to my expectations. I do really like the design. It has a pretty nice hinge on it when you open up the lid. The battery life is good and the charging is surprisingly fast in my experience, much faster than any of my other laptops. There is an adequate keyboard and trackpad. It's nice for the price. I think you get overall the trackpad and keyboard do have a good user experience. And overall, the laptop is pretty snappy as you would expect. Nothing out of the ordinary, but pretty quick, especially, a new laptop running 4-channel memory with an SSD, expected to be snappy. I was pleased. I mentioned it at the beginning, the carrying case that the laptop came with. I haven't used it that much, but it's just really nice that they included the carrying case in a couple of those dongles, which is certainly something Asus did not have to do, but it was a nice added touch. Some of the software that's built in is pretty helpful. And my Asus software is not too exhaustive, but there are a couple of neat features there, such as limiting the overall charging capacity to only 80%, which you might ask, why would I only charge my laptop to 80%? But it actually helps the overall life of the battery immensely. So that's something to consider doing. However, a few of the downsides that I've experienced the first couple of weeks is using this laptop is just a few performance hiccups occasionally. Sometimes you start the laptop up and it just runs into a few hiccups there, but that might be on a lot of Windows laptops. But that's really a minor issue. The primary problem is when this laptop is plugged in and charging. I have personally had not quite overheating, but the laptop will get really hot and the fan will get really loud. Whenever I was editing this video, with my laptop plugged in, it wasn't getting loud or hot. But whenever I was downloading the software, Premiere Pro, to edit this video, it was. So it's almost inconsistent. But it's almost scary how hot the laptop gets when it's plugged in when I'm just browsing the web. So it seems inconsistent, and I don't quite understand that if that's just on my model or what's happening with that. But whenever it's not plugged in, whenever I'm just using it on a daily basis in class, it's not overheating and the fan is never coming on. So that was a little bit annoying that whenever it's charging, that happens. Also, as I mentioned at the beginning, the laptop is a fingerprint magnet. That whole finish that kind of makes the fingerprints disappear, quickly wears off, and you can see fingerprints all over the laptop. And last, one of the things is the backlighting on the keyboard is a little bit dim, but that's not a huge make or breaker for me because whenever I'm in brighter situations, anyways, I'm not using the keyboard backlight. It's just an unnecessary use of battery. Going back to a positive, I do really like the function keys on this laptop. I think there's a lot of cool things like disable the trackpad, and screenshots. So those are some neat things you get on the function key. And lastly, this is a positive and negative about the laptop is I do like the display. I like the matte display. It's very color accurate. It's easy on my eyes personally. It doesn't have a lot of glare. All of the things you would expect from a matte display versus that of a glossy one. But the main downside is I thought this laptop was going to be entirely aluminum. And the outside frame is, but on the inside, the actual part, the bevels around the screen are plastic, which really makes the laptop look and feel a lot less premium than it could be, than it actually is. So it's really annoying that they did not put aluminum around the display as well. I'm not sure if that's because it's a matte display and because the display is already this plastic feel, they wanted the bevels to be plastic or what, or if it was just a cost cutting measure. But that is my primary complaint is that it looks cheap around the screen because it's plastic and a little webcam cluster at the top of the screen almost has the shiny plastic that then transitions to the matte plastic. And overall, that is my biggest complaint. So of course that doesn't get in the way of functionality, but it is annoying that they did not 100% commit to aluminum encasements. And the last thing is you hear the feature about the trackpad doubling as a 10 key number pad. In my experience, it's really cool to mess with. I turn it on and off and it works really well. But then again, you are using a trackpad as a number pad. So it's never going to truly be able to replace the 10 key, especially since it's not at the right side of the keyboard. It's right in front of you. But it does work surprisingly well between deciphering, moving your mouse and actually hitting a number. So those are my takeaways. Hopefully that was not too long. But I just wanted to give that update. If you watched to this point, thank you so much for watching this video and let me know your thoughts in the description if you have this laptop as well.